Welcome to Street Talker with Nancy Tansy Busher. Here you will meet artisans from Florida's Gulf Coast and learn about their art. We include their contact information so you may contact them. For a complete list of links, go to artistkaleidoscope.us. Thank you. Loveberry George is a distinguished, award-winning artist in Sarasota, Florida. Her work has been displayed throughout the area, including the Sarasota Chalk Festival, the first international street painting festival in the United States, director show homes, and numerous galleries and private homes in the region. Her exhibit, The Power of Portraiture, was a major part of the In Your Face series events that took place over a 10-day period in February 2014. The series included films, lectures, panel discussions, books, entertainment, and exhibits taking place in both Sarasota and St. Petersburg, Florida. It was curated by Pamela Colander and based on the photographs and books of Bruce Jackson. Many of these portraits by Loveberry George are on display in the lobby gallery of the Sarasota Arts and Cultural Alliance. Go to her website to see Tromfli Italian mural and faux stone elevator doors. Yeah, we're speaking to Loveberry George. This is her exhibit of the artwork for the In Your Face that took place in February throughout Sarasota and St. Petersburg. Tell me a little bit about your event tonight.
I had a great opportunity to hang the work through the Arts and Culture Alliance. I'm a member, and they have space here to put it up. Have a lot of pieces, and some are big. It now has a home for a month or two. It's actually just a partial show. It's only part of the pieces because it's not the room here. Altogether, with the photos at the other show, there was about 50. There was about 50 pieces that were mine, and the rest were Bruce Jackson's, which were the photograph. I have a lot of drawings. I've maybe done 200 pieces total, or I'm not even sure now how many. It's a great opportunity to have people to be able to see it. I call it the Power of Portraiture because it's basically what it is, and it's a great opportunity for more people to see it because it is a very powerful show.
It does, and it makes a wonderful statement. Give us a little backstory on the In Your Face.
To begin with, this is about the beginning of last year, I found a book at the library, and it was called The Art of Portraiture, Prison Portraiture. I started drawing the faces out of the book because I loved how they looked. I mean, these were early 20th century prison ID photos, about 2 inches by 3 inches originally. Bruce Jackson, who wrote the book, acquired these photographs back in the 70s at one of the prisons. He was doing some documentary work. He ended up acquiring them there by a prison guard who just took him into a room and said, "Here, just take these." And he took them, put them in his pockets. He had about 120, and then he took them home and wasn't able to restore them until just recently with technology and digital, retouching and all that. He's the one that wrote the book and put it out there. I found them, started drawing them, and then Pam Colander, who also is a curator, she said, "This looks like a show." So it just took off from there, and we did a whole event series with conversations about current prison culture and past prison culture. We included musicians, a slam poet, and Bruce Jackson also was here for the first show in February with his photographs, his prison photography. It was a very cohesive event that all tied in. There was a lot of different mediums, different art forms.
We had an opportunity to speak to some of the people at the reception for In Your Face. People can see those on our website, artistkaleidoscope.us.
It's up till the end of May and can live here a little bit longer.
Yes, that would be nice.
This is good. Then I don't have to take it home and put it back under my bed. No, it goes in storage. That's one dilemma artists have that have big pieces. What do you do with the work? You have to store it. It's something you have to think about, especially if you have big work.
Yes.
And some of my pieces are 4 by 5.
Thank you, Lori.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Jim Shirley is the Executive Director of the Sarasota Arts and Cultural Alliance, a nonprofit organization and major arts advocate for the past 28 years. Sarasota Arts and Cultural Alliance is a membership organization providing advocacy, support, and funding for the area arts and organizations, as well as individuals.
Well, it's always busy at the Arts and Cultural Alliance. This week, for example, we've been working very closely with the Board of County Commissioners and the county staff to help ensure the continuation of the arts grants that are developed through the tourist development tax. We are very fortunate in Sarasota County to have a government that allows us support, from that bed tax. This year, for example, we granted out about $1.5 million to our arts and cultural organizations to do more programming that will continue to develop tourism for Sarasota County. A lot of people do not realize how big a tourist driver the arts are, but last year there were 2.5 million tickets purchased to performances and to different arts venues in the county, and over 42% of those were to tourists. So there's a lot of tourist activity that goes on through the arts in Sarasota County. And then coming up in about 3 weeks, we have two of our granting programs that are available for the arts. One will be the John Ringling Tower grants that we do each year, and this is 4 grants. 3 of them are aimed at professional artists living in Sarasota County to help them be able to do their art better. One is for visual arts, one is for performing arts, and one for literary arts. And then we have a historic preservation grant. Those will be announced on our website, sarasotaarts.org. They're available to anybody who meets the criteria for them. So I encourage people to go to our website and see what the John Ringling Tower grant is about. And then we will also do our Opportunity Grant program, which are grants that are being funded through the money that we receive from the sale of the State of the Arts license plates.
Oh, yeah.
So I encourage people to buy State of the Arts license plates, and whenever they do, a piece of that money comes to the Arts and Cultural Alliance, and we put it into a fund to help fund arts and cultural organizations that do not receive the tourist development tax grant.
Yes.
Either they're not big enough, or they couldn't receive it for whatever reason, because we want to do everything we can to help support the arts in Sarasota County. And we've been very fortunate. Over the years, we've been able to provide about $18 million in support of arts and culture in Sarasota County. The Arts Alliance is a membership organization, and I encourage people to look at joining the Alliance at whatever level they want to. And a lot of the reason for that is because we are the advocacy organization for the arts. If I go to the county commission or to Congressman Buchanan and say I think something, that's one citizen. But if I say I and my 2,000 members think something, then we have a much better chance of getting things that are important to us. It carries a lot more weight,
Yes.
and that's a big part of what the Arts and Cultural Alliance is about. So I want to encourage your listeners to check into the Arts and Cultural Alliance, sarasotaarts.org, and look at becoming a member so you can have your voice heard for the arts out there.
What a good idea.
Yeah.
Now, tell us about the event that you have later in the year, maybe November.
Well, we have a couple of events coming up a little later. In October, every year we do our annual Arts Awards celebration. And it's kind of like the Academy Award for the Arts. We recognize people who have achieved in both artistic achievement, people that make contributions in volunteering and in philanthropy. We have performances that go on. This is at the Van Wezel Performing Arts Hall. And all of the organizational members of the Arts and Cultural Alliance, including the Van Wezel and the Opera and the Ballet and the Symphony and the Ringling, really pulled together to put this production on as a way of letting the people of the community celebrate this wonderful arts community we have. It's free, it's open to the public.
Wonderful event.
And it is a great event. And then shortly after that, in November, we have our annual Principals Luncheon that the Arts and Cultural Alliance has put on now for about 15 years. And we invite all of the principals for all the public schools and private schools in Sarasota County to come and learn more about why they need to continue to support arts being a part of the curriculum of every child in their system for what it will do for the community. And this year that program is going to be at Holly Hall, and we're going to have a music theme to it. They're going to learn a lot more about the Sarasota Orchestra. They're going to get a chance, hopefully to get a chance to meet the new conductor, Anu Tali, and get a chance to hear what she has to say. So it'll be a great event for our school system leaders, and we're looking very much forward to that.
Oh, yeah, that's wonderful. I've had an opportunity through the years to work with children, typically with plays.
Children absorb so much from learning through the arts. About 3 weeks ago, my wife is one of the principals of the school here at Alta Vista Elementary School, and I went over there, and Circus Sarasota had all of Alta Vista at the circus tent, and they were teaching physical science about levers and pulleys and everything through the circus arts. And it was amazing to watch the faces of the children. You know, they would get these relatively complex scientific ideas, and because the arts were helping them get there, they were learning and having fun.
Yes.
And it was such a thrill to see that. And, you know, and it doesn't matter if it's music or dance. Children, when they get engaged with the arts, just learn a lot more. And we know statistically that they do better in school. If they only take one art course, they end up doing better than the typical student who does not receive that. And that's why we, as the Arts and Cultural Alliance, through our Arts Education Task Force, and then we have an advisory committee with the superintendent of schools called the Citizens School Partnership for the Arts, or CSPA, work heavily with the school system to make sure that the arts have never been cut from the Sarasota County schools. We have a school board election coming up this year, and we're going to be holding a forum for the candidates of that election, and we're going to find out what their position on supporting for the arts in schools are, and we're going to let them know that if you won't support it, then we probably won't vote for you, because we expect the arts to be available in our school system. It's one of the reasons Sarasota has one of the top school systems in the state of Florida, and we're very proud of that.
Yes, and I agree, and it's wonderful.
I'm sure appreciate you coming by, and love to keep with you anytime we can.
Thank you very much, Jim.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Pamela Colander holds a Master's of Fine Art degree in Interdisciplinary Arts from Goddard College in Plainfield, Vermont, and a Bachelor of Arts degree in Visual Arts from Eckerd College in St. Petersburg, Florida. She has curated numerous events, including Environmental Reflux, highlighting photography, and Offsites Insights, works that give insight into the relevance of environmental art and sustainable living. Her most recent event was In Your Face, the event that blossomed from Loveberry George's Attraction to the Faces in the book by Bruce. Lori and I started talking a year ago about this work that she did. It was inspired by a book by Bruce Jackson, who is an educator at the University of Buffalo. He spent decades studying American prison culture, allowed to go into the prisons and take pictures and interview and spend as much time as he wanted inside the prisons, death row and everything. He and his wife published over 20 books about American prisons. Lori found this book in the library, and so she took it home, and it had mugshots like that in it from the 1920s and 1910s. She took the book home and she started sketching using the shots as an exercise for her portraiture. She kept the book out for 6 months and she kept drawing them and I said, Lori, why? Why would you? They're such haunting images. What are you attracted to? What is it about these? And she said, well, I feel like I'm doing a self-portrait with each one. She said, sometimes I feel imprisoned in my own life, and she said, I can relate to these people. She said, I just can't put it down. And I said, well, there's a story behind this work. Let's do a show. So I contacted the author. We had conversations with him. We showed Death Row, his documentary Death Row at the library. He sent 150 of his photographs he printed up for us for this show. We combined it, so we had his photography, his books there, and him, and then Lori's work at the original show, In Your Face. This is the abbreviated In Your Face show with just her work. Every one of them is a mugshot from the 1910, 20. These are some of the sketches that she did first, and then she took a picture and reduced them in mugshot size.
They got a great look. I mean, they're powerful.
They are powerful.
They're right in your face, like you said.
In your face,
Yeah.
And the thing is, you can look at some of them, and it could be your neighbor. I look at them and say, oh, there's my grandson, or my uncle or my aunt. And that was what she did. When she took the mugshots from the book, she brought them to life. She gave them some life. Well, paid some honor where otherwise they've been totally overlooked. There was no name, no identification. We don't know if this girl embezzled money or robbed a grocery store or shot somebody. She was probably poor and needed some food. We can make up stories, which is what we did. When she got to this size, she was struggling a little little bit, and I said, well, Lori, give them a story. You don't know what it is, we don't know what it is, but you can give them a life. You can give them a story. So why do you think that guy's here? She said, okay, I got it. And then I left. I don't know what the story is, but that's when she started adding things like this. Windows, she calls them. They started to really come alive. Thank you. You're welcome. Daryl Stevens Babisi is an author, artist, and entertainer, having grown up in New Zealand and Australia, and now residing in Bradenton, Florida. She is a member of numerous arts organizations, including ABC, Artisans of Books. Here we have Daryl Stevens, Babisi. She's wearing her Lucky Black Cat by Art Harmony Creations. We interviewed Carol recently, and I think we even got a picture of her shirt on the interview. I'll put that link on this, and you can key right into it.
I am loving this series that I'm doing. I've decided, as a Lucky Black Cat advocate promoting non-discrimination of beautiful black cats, that I would do a series. So last night I finished this wonderful cat sitting in the lotus position with this look on her face, I think it's her, and just tranquil as can be. And it's a similar little jolly fat cat in the series. The next one I'm doing, the High Five Lucky Black Cat. Then I'll do the See No Dog, Hear No Dog, Speak No Dog, Lucky Black Cat. And by then I think I'll be exhausted.
Sounds like you've got your work cut out for you.
It took a whole week to do the last one.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
I had a few hitches in it, and I had to take photocopies, try out different color configurations. Do you do that too?
Oh my gosh, yes, I go through a whole ream of paper when I illustrate a book.
Yeah, and just to see what works and what doesn't. And I do scan it first, but this one I made a little wider than my scanner, so I had to do it in 2 parts.
You know what Lori does? She uses tracing paper, and she goes over and over and over and over. And when she's all finished, when she illustrated my Emma's Dilemma, she had over 200 little sketches.
They're like templates, really.
Yeah.
In a sense, and I've done that too. And then when you're doing a repeat pattern like a mandala, you do that quarter of the pie, and then you flip it, and you trace it on there, then you flip it and do it on the other side. You don't have to freehand draw every part of it.
Gosh.
And it makes it more symmetrical.
I have never figured out how an artist could get that to come right at the end. Jenny Grand did, I forget what she called them, but they were eggs. She would dye the egg and then scrape a little design in it. This design would come together. It was perfect all around. I said, how did you ever do that? She said, oh, I just do it.
They look very intricate, things like that, and the mandalas, they really look intricate. You're looking at cutting a pizza, half, quarter, and once you have your center, you can pull it out from the circle to a square, and you're just simply establishing a repeat pattern. It can be in the cross pattern or the railway crossing. On an angle or straight up like that with your design.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then you're just doing a repeat pattern. It's such fun to do. I love it.
And I love your colors. You should do a book where all your little pictures tell a story. Maybe a little story that goes with each one for young children.
Yeah. This one could become a book, but I don't have enough hours in the day to do all that I want to do. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome, Nancy.
And we'll probably use the picture of you with the cat. Thank you. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Sarita Roche is a dramatic coloratura and soprano soloist. She is a Florida teaching artist and teaches students of all ages. Sarita has performed worldwide, including India, Germany, Austria, Singapore, Canada, and Italy.
I drove hard to get here. I had to practice all afternoon. And this is nice because they're very good friends and they've been wonderful to me. And how gifted they are. Bravo.
So what were you doing this afternoon?
I'm a music director and practicing a new organ and practicing in a new church and just, you know.
And where was that?
In Parrish, Florida. So good distance. But it's a beautiful day and I didn't want to be late, but I am late. But this is wonderful.
Isn't this wonderful?
Yes, it is. I'm so impressed. Oh, I'm so impressed. So I'll go carefully and study everything. Oh, that's nice. That's very nice. how detailed and how expressive. Very excellent.
Oh, yes, she's
God bless her.
magnificent.
Yes, she is.
I call her Michelangelo because she can paint anything.
Oh, aren't you good to say that? That's sweet. Well, you know, we support our friends, especially when they're so gifted, you know.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So thank you.
It was nice
Glad to be
talking
here.
to you.
Thank you, dear, very much. And bravo to our group, huh?
Yes, and thank you.
Thank you, dear, so much.
Our next guest goes by the name Jorge the artist. He's a Sarasota native, traveling extensively. His works have been highlighted at events such as the Sarasota Chalk Festival and the Ice House Gallery. I think we need to start with your name.
Jorge the artist.
Jorge, and I understand that you are a muralist.
Yes, I'm an associate of Laurie's. We've worked together in a few of the street art festivals, and I'm a full-time resident of Sarasota, and I travel the whole state of Florida doing room transformations, teaching classes and whatnot, that type of thing. It's a lot of fun. I get to meet everybody. It's amazing when you're an artist and you're involved with different types of everything from teaching to doing the construction on restaurants. You know, you really get a pretty good taste of the full spectrum of life and what everybody's dealing with it simultaneously, you know?
I have to admire people that work large, and obviously a muralist does. And I understand one of your recent ones is a triptych.
Well, that's true. I enjoy it so much. My work that's on canvas is 8 foot tall. They're called triptychs because they're in divisions of 3. So it's kind of like if we had 3 of Laurie's pieces side by side here, that would be considered a triptych if they had a relationship with one another. And they're considered anamorphic because the artwork, in my case, spans the 3 surfaces, which are at different angles, but also has a relationship which creates a sensation of, dimensional space. I call it LED. That's the life energy dimension. Some people call that the 4th dimension. I feel lucky just to stand here and look at them.
Yes.
And I know they're not related,
Oh, no.
but they totally have a relationship as paintings.
Yes.
And I mean, look at this price. I mean, this is
Amazing, isn't it?
yeah, it's amazing. It's the only way to put it. Anybody would be lucky to be able to come in here right now and have the opportunity to consider having one of these in their private collection.
So, since I've got you here, give us your website because you're going to be interesting to look up.
Well, actually, the website that I'm using right now is actually just on Facebook. I've just got my Jorge the Artist on Facebook. Then I've got the one and only Jorge the Artist on Facebook. And the websites I normally have up are Jorge the Artist Productions or jorgetheartist.com, which are both down right now because Facebook's been so good. I do have an Instagram page called also Jorge the Artist, and the word The Artist is one word, TheArtist, and the first word is Jorde, Jorge. Yeah, it's kind of working for me.
Yes, I guess it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing this?
Well, I started ringling when I was 10 years old. I started going. In fact, Kevin Dean was one of my biggest inspirations, and he was my teacher. Starting when I was age 10, and he was part of my life till I was 22. That's when I finally left the art school. Didn't graduate. Studied everything from printmaking to sculpture to computer animation. But by the time I'd gotten through, 12 to 14 years worth of being in that school, I decided I just wanted to be an artist in general. I didn't care if I had a degree, and unfortunately that meant I felt mostly like expressing myself and not so much like necessarily trying to constrain that to other people's ideas of what grading should have something to do with. I got a lot of respect from the teachers, but it took me, I was starting the mural thing even back then. I was around 22 years old. That's when I started doing the work, in people's homes through some contractors and interior decorators, that sort of thing. I quit trying to market myself a couple years ago because my father died. And it was really sad and not made too much of a difference anymore as far as, because he wasn't here anymore to appreciate it. To me, he was a big celebrity, and I decided that I wanted to take the life force that I gained from him. When he left his body, I felt like a percentage of who he was kind of gravitated into me, and it just kind of motivated me just to be who I am and not do it for any reason other than it's just my family legacy. And I decided I would take my 20 years of traveling around Florida and bring that to the festivals and the galleries, and because I was sort of someone that liked to have that private time off in people's houses to just be working on my walls and not necessarily have an audience around. Once I met when Denise Cowell, she invited me to come to that first festival because she saw my work on Facebook. And I tell you what, when you get to do the Sarasota Chalk Festival and you see how it feels to have thousands of people standing around you watching your work at the same time like that's kind of an addictive feeling, I have to be honest.
So you've done that a couple years now, right?
Yeah, I did the first Anna Maria Chalk Festival they just did, and I did the Sarasota Chalk Festival last November. And then I have the next one coming up in Venice. I'll be doing that. That'll be my third one.
When is the one in Venice?
I believe it's this November. Every November is when we usually do the festival, as far as I know.
Yeah, I know about the one in Sarasota. I didn't know they had one in Venice.
Well, it's new.
Okay.
Denise Cowell decided to move it to Venice this year. It was basically an expansion. We've gotten to the point where there's so many people. Tens of thousands of people are coming down from all over the world. It's the biggest festival in the world, and it's still called the Sarasota Chalk Festival. And I was sort of a feature artist in the Anna Maria Island show, which was fun. This is going to be great. I mean, all the artists that come are also talented. It's just like a big family gathering, really is what it is.
Especially if you go year after year. Yeah, meet old friends.
Yeah, the anamorphic quality is what's so amazing. These people really think in such extreme angles. You can't even look at them but from one angle. But when you look at them from that one angle, everything just comes so to life. It's truly startling,
Yes.
I work with a little bit less of a level of depth in some of my dimension because I like it to be more peaceful, and I don't find it quite so peaceful to do things that once they're so sideways skewed that you get such a distortion. It's like, my God, it's all truly amazing. I don't know how their minds can think that way. I guess they have a certain kind of a computer program they use that they learned from Kurt Wenner. He was one of the ones who originated a particular formula for skewing the dimensions for these extreme proportions in the ground. There's a lot of nuances. People have no idea the different levels of nuances there are working with dimensional art. There's still so many ways to do it. As long as you're feeling a sensation of depth and life, I find it to be all equal and just all worth enjoying and looking at.
I love it. I was telling Judy, it doesn't even matter what the medium is. Somebody will tell me about their medium and I get so excited. I just love all aspects of art. I can't do most of it, but I only had art for 4 years. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
We'll talk to you again.
Okay, I'll be looking forward to talking to you soon and listening to this on YouTube.
Judy Boardman is a Sarasota artist of many mediums, and all are as colorful as she is. Tell me your name.
Judy Boardman.
And what is your medium, Judy?
Well, mostly acrylic, but I like to do mixed media with the acrylic and sculpting.
Oh, and sculpting too. Wow.
And jewelry design.
Oh, and jewelry design. Yeah. So you're kind of, are you a Libra?
No, I'm a Pisces.
Oh, yes. Being a Libra, it seems like I have so many interests.
Yes.
But you know what? I think artists are like that.
They are. House cleaning is like the furthest thing from my mind.
Really?
There's so many other things that you're thinking of or that you want to do, and you go from one thing to another, to another, to another, and eventually you get something finished.
When I was first married, when I was young, I got my first job so I could hire a woman to come clean my house.
I would love that. I would love that. I don't like that. Rather just keep my head moving forward with ideas and painting and mostly portraiture work. So
is it?
Yeah.
Do you have a studio? Do you work out of your home?
I used to have a studio in Maryland.
Oh,
wow. Yeah, a few one-woman shows across the United States.
Well, you know what? You come to a great area.
Yeah, I had one actually in St. Armand's Circle before I even moved to Florida. It was kind of funny that had happened. I came down here and visited. My mom had come with me, and she ended up moving down here. After a divorce, I came down and took care of her. So that was a nice thing that ended me back down here in Sarasota. It's a nice area.
Well, this whole Gulf Coast of Florida, all the way, I say from Tampa down, but it's Orlando down. It's almost the whole state, down clear through Naples. It's an amazing area.
It is beautiful. I know there are a lot of, artists that do a lot of the landscape art down here, which is really beautiful if you love to do that because it's just stunningly beautiful down here. I like the desert. I spend a lot of time, over in Sedona or Albuquerque, New Mexico, some places there. I like the desert, so it's the desert versus the water, but when you take me away from the water, the fish in me with the Pisces just kind of, you got to go back to the water. So I can't stay out of the water for long.
What is it about the desert that you like? Is it the calmness?
Yeah, and I think when you're there and the mountains, especially in Sedona, the mountains are so red at dawn when the sunlight comes up, just starts to move across. It just changes color so much, so it can go from lavender to gold. You just watch it and it's just so beautiful. You can just stay there and watch it all day because everything changes all the time, and as soon as the clouds come in, that rolls and shadows against the mountains. It is really beautiful out there. That's what I love about it. I love the colors.
Yes, I am so fond of the Highlands of Scotland. And of course, my sister says, ooh, it's so sparse. And then I look at her pictures of Italy that she loved. And I say, ooh, it's so congested.
Well, they have like really lovely poppy fields and things like that in Italy too. So I mean, there are those places there in Tuscany that's very open. That's pretty too.
Yeah,
You know, there's
well,
a
we
lot
don't
of
all
pretty.
have to like the same
No,
thing.
we don't. Otherwise, that would be boring. That would be very boring. I was looking at her work. I loved what she had done with the prison portraiture. I had done a piece that when my father was passing away of cancer, I had done a portrait of myself dying of cancer because I wanted to feel how he felt, and very much like Laurie's story about getting into the heads of these people and trying to feel that, you know, that reflection. And so I did the same thing. My mother hated that picture. Oh, she hated that picture.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, she wanted me to turn that around every time she came in the house. And then when she found out that she had cancer, she couldn't stop looking at it. It's a powerful thing when you start to try to get into the emotions of somebody else. And I loved them both dearly.
Yeah.
You know, trying to feel what he was feeling at the time.
Pam was saying that Lori said at one point, she said, I'm having such a hard time because I don't really know any background. And Pam said, make up a backstory. All of a sudden, the dimension came out in each of the characters.
Yeah, this is a beautiful collection. This really
it's
is a
amazing.
beautiful collection. Very powerful, and I really love it. It's beautiful. I mean, it's hauntingly beautiful.
It is. It is.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the show greatly.
Well, I appreciate your talking to
You're
me.
welcome.
We'll meet again one day.
You never know. I have a show over there for the Harvey Milk and displaying some pieces over at Circus Salvage right now. There's an art show starting at 7 and 10. I'm showing there.
Oh, so you're going from here to there
Here
tonight?
to there tonight, yeah.
Are you exhausted yet?
My feet are. Heels don't help.
Well, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
May I have your name?
My name is Judy Perky,
Judy.
and Perky is my last name.
Nice to meet you. And you
Thank
seem
you.
like a perky kind of person.
I am, and I'm also an artist.
Are you?
Yeah.
And what's your medium?
Clay and sculpting, but all clay, pottery. So, and I have a studio, and I came because I think her work is wonderful.
Yeah, she's amazing, isn't she? So tell us about your work. Tell us about your studio.
I have a studio off of Clark and near Macintosh, and I teach one-on-one pottery, and then I do a great deal of my own work. Some of it very, very different, all of it, never the same thing. So when I do shows where I go to craft fairs, it's mostly practical, pretty different but practical, so that anything that I do can be put in the oven or put in the microwave. And then I have things that I build, which could be sculpting. And then what I like to do is finish my things and then add a lot of other stuff to it. I have a young lady that was my student, and she's from Istanbul, Turkey. So we go to Turkey once every 2 years and do an exhibition there. So we send about 100 to 120 pieces. And what's interesting in Turkey is that Turkey is beautiful pottery, but very different, so that the young people and the yuppie type of people who live in Istanbul, they like our pottery because it's not their cultural pottery. It's very different.
It's more unique.
Yes. So that was interesting. We've done that, and we do art shows, and we teach, and then we do our own thing. And each of us in the summertime have the opportunity to just do what we want to do, and that's what we do.
How fun.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And what channel are you on?
It's on YouTube.
YouTube. Okay.
And it's available 24/7.
Well,
worldwide.
I'm really thrilled that people do that. Thank you. What is your name?
Nancy Busher.
Nancy Busher. Okay, and I'm Judy. Hi.
Nice to meet you, Judy.
Thank you. I appreciate that you do those things for the
you.
art world. It's a great interest and needed. No one does that. Good for you.
Judy Levine is a Sarasota artist. She's a Florida teaching artist, and she coordinated grants at the Van Wezel Performing Arts Hall, integrating the arts into the curriculum of Sarasota schools. She teaches art courses at the University of South Florida, and she owns Phoenix Arts Workshops, a business providing art talks and educational workshops.
My name is Judy Levine, and I'm co-chair of the Association of Florida Teaching Artists.
And she is a very busy woman. She's just telling me she and Judy Perry, they share a studio, is that what you said?
Yes, it's called The Studios on McIntosh, but we're now on Derrick Avenue. And we are starting the South Sarasota Arts District. We have our artists that work in our studio. We have clay and jewelry artists. Upstairs we have Donna Pappenhausen, who is an expressive arts artist and painter.
Oh my gosh. And I even know where Derrick is.
One place.
It is good.
It is all in one place. This is going to be very short.
That's good, because we have a reservation at 6:30.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
This has been Street Talker with Nancy Tansy Busher, brought to you by Busher Consultants, your team of writing specialists. We hope you will join us as we meet more artists, authors, musicians, and craftsmen on Street Talker. Thank you.